I saw a boob, Ryan.
You did?
I did. I saw two boobs.
Oh,
They were your boobs. They were sweet man boobs. Whoa. Like, you're
I
rocking like
got
a...
I think
You're,
a salt tea cup.
you're right. Yeah, so you're rocking a good B cup, man. Do some push-ups.
They got some good weight to it.
Wait a minute. Are these like I've been running and doing push-ups man
Yes.
boobs, or are these like I've had way too many ho-hos man boobs?
These are I am in alright shape man boobs.
Or is like a combination? It's like I've been doing a push-up into a pie.
Just like
Push up. Push up. We call them pie push-ups. You know, I never think about it. I got a pie in the fridge. I should do some pie push-ups after the show because that sounds amazing.
that sounds like a really cool way of doing push-ups. I'll be honest.
Side note: if you had to pick a pie to do a pie push-up,
Cherry
what
pie.
pie? Real quick, think carefully. This could end our friendship. What kind of pie? Because if you say rhubarb, we're no longer friends. All right, good.
No,
or pecan.
My favorite pie is cherry pie. My second favorite pie.
Wait a minute. I said you're taking this to a dirty place. You want to do a push up into some cherry pie? Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking that to a dirty place. I'm just
Sweet
saying.
cherry pie. All right, whatever. Back on topic. So cherry pie, I'll accept. Cherry pie isn't very good pie. What else do you got?
I like to do a lattice apple pie. You
Lattice?
can get your tongue like into the lattice, in between the lattice parts.
All right, so
Like doing your push up.
you want to do a pie push up into a cherry pie, and then you want to stick your tongue between the lattices?
Yes, and the apple pie.
I mean, listen, I see where you're going with this, and I dig it. But I mean, this is a family show.
Yeah, you know.
We've
is.
talked about this like numerous times. We had 3 meetings this week alone about how we got to keep this shit fucking family friendly, Ryan. And you're talking about here eating out cherry pies.
I have a very
What's next? Your favorite one's a chocolate pudding pie? You just like to just to your whole face is covered in brown shit?
I would get 2 big bowls of Jello and then upend them and then put my in between the two.
You want to motorboat a Jello pie while you're doing a push-up.
Well, no, I would just use straight Jello, but I would make it in a big giant bowl and then so then you can just put your face between the 2 Jello mounds while you're doing your push-ups.
You know, I was going to say the only acceptable. Answer is a Dutch apple pie, but I prefer your motorboating Jello pie push-ups.
This is a very good family show.
All right. On that note, welcome everybody to episode 180 of the Geek Dad Report. One show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and apparently to getting Ryan to motorboat some Jello. And while he's doing that, we'll talk about the news, the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a smile on your beautiful faces. I'm Brian West, the guy who's not motorboating Jello.
And I'm Ryan. I'm more into the cherry pie.
You
thing.
motorboating son of a bitch, you old sailor, you.
I'm more just getting down in that cherry pie.
Oh my god.
This is a good start. I'm just gonna say, probably our best start in 179 episodes.
Man, we should have saved this for episode 169. So apple pie, and then I'm going to say banana cream pie, since I'm not a disgusting pervert like you.
You said Dutch apple, right? That's probably my favorite.
Dutch apple pie with the lattice topping. I like your lattice, but I've never tongued the lattice, so I mean, is that how you do it? I feel like you've been watching American Pie. I feel like you've been doing other stuff with that. You're talking about how tight the little lattice holes are, Ryan.
And I wasn't saying anything about tightness. I was more just talking about...
You disgust me. Look away. I want you to look at your clock for 2 minutes until your mind is cleared.
I was more talking about the availability of getting deep down and...
Yeah, I think we're all aware what you're talking about, Ryan.
Let's just move on to something
There are
else.
people. Move on to what? What other kind of pie do you want to defile, you sicko?
None. That's it.
All right. Well, on that note, everybody, we got a big show for you guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got some news. We got some new trailers that came out. We're going to talk a little bit about Dark Phoenix, which we haven't seen, but apparently we don't need to.
Mm.
It's called a tease.
We have some great questions for our From the Faithful 50 segment.
Yes, and I have a couple great recommendations, and Ryan is still thinking of one, so we'll give him the hour to figure something out that's great, or else he's fired.
I think I came up with one. We'll see if I can remember it.
Well, it better be great, or you're fired.
Yeah. I've been fired, quote unquote, by you at least 70 times.
Well, this time I'll stop the paychecks.
And I haven't seen, you don't have any follow through.
Oh, what are you, tempting fate? You playing with fire? Listen here, Icarus, you soar too close to the sun. What happened to him? Wings got burned off and he fell to Earth. And then he turned into a really bad Nintendo game.
I started the Geek Dad Report, and I can finish the Geek Dad Report.
Oh, well, I can finish it too by hitting the fucking dump button.
Insane.
Remember that stuff? Remember that paperwork I told you to sign that was about you getting paid? It wasn't about you getting paid. It was about me getting sole control of the Geek Dad Report.
And I'll start my own show.
Have you ever watched that Facebook movie?
The better Geek Dad Report.
You ever watched
that Facebook movie?
That Facebook movie, which hasn't aged well, because when you watch that movie, you're like, oh, these guys are cool, and now you're like, oh, these guys wrecked America, but,
Yeah.
But, in that movie, that part when, like, the two guys started it, and then the one guy finds out that he's out, that's you.
Winklevoss twins?
No, not the Winklevoss twins, Spider-Man. When Spider-Man finds out that Zuckerberg screwed him over, and then he smashes the computer, but he's still out, because Justin Timberlake, moonwalks on him.
And then he went out and he smashed Zuckerberg in the back of the head.
Yeah, but then Timberlake danced and a bunch of trolls jumped out and kicked him in the face. That's a good movie. I might have to revisit that movie. It's been a while, so I forgot about that part. But yeah, that's you. You're Spider-Man. You're out.
Okay.
Done.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
All right, whatever. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, the show. Should we just dive into it? You got anything else you want to talk about? You got any other kind of food you want to defile or talk about?
No, I have had,
doing disgusting things too.
I've had a week. That's what I did get to go to the commissary on the military base that I work at, and one of the soldiers bought me a whole bunch of liquor.
Is that illegal? I feel like that's illegal.
They're no.
Ryan, we are a nationally televised show. You are getting fired from your real job. Congratulations.
Yeah, they actually can't fire me for that. But.
Well, what can they fire you for? What can I turn you in for?
Nothing. Because I have the highest rating out of anybody in the whole Eastern Seaboard.
The whole world. Oh my God, you're the best.
Nah, just the Eastern Seaboard.
Eastern Seaboard. What is that?
Yeah.
Was that like Kentucky? What is an Eastern?
Everything east of the Mississippi.
Is that really considered the Eastern Seaboard? What do they call it? A seaboard? There's no board. I don't see any board. Is it supposed to be like a map? A giant map board?
There's a lot of water around.
Why would they call it the east coast of the country? The eastern coast.
The east coast.
The eastern side of the Mississippi.
I will put that up.
Well, Mississippi East. Then everybody would know. It means east of the Mississippi. The Western Seaboard sounds like a weird game.
Well, I think they do technically break it down like Midwest and stuff like that, but oh well.
All right, whatever. You want to do news? I want to do news.
What about you, Brian? Do you have anything actually interesting happen to you this week?
No.
No. All right, well, let's just go right to this.
I don't know. We've been watching TV a lot. I don't know. Nothing's happened. Literally nothing. I've been working too much.
It's hard to come up with something because, you're busy. The kids got crap. It's toward the end of the school year, and this is where, here's the play that we've been working on all year long, and it's just like...
I'm just in, I just need a vacation mode. I think that's really what I'm in. I need a week off from work where I can just unplug and do something. But, what did we do last week? I had that weird anomaly where, the summer comes... And, you've worked all week super hard, you're tired, you're exhausted, but it's super nice on a Saturday, and you feel real guilty about just taking a few hours and sitting on the couch and just doing nothing because you need a break, so you end up doing a bunch of shit. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, why do I don't understand why we feel guilty as parents. We work so hard, our kids run us ragged. I don't give a shit if it is 85 and sunny outside. You don't have to go outside. You can stay inside and do nothing.
You are allowed to make that decision. No, I texted my wife this week and I said, I just want one day where we don't have to deal with kid stuff, dog stuff, outside stuff, cleaning the house stuff, running some random errand stuff, having to get a birthday present for some kid because there's another birthday party this weekend.
Oh, well, why don't you just ask for a unicorn? Because that's probably as magical and as fucking unrealistic as what you're asking for.
Yeah, it's like, I just want one day. It's like, and can we just dump the kids and the dog on somebody and just be well,
can we just lock them outside and not let them in for 8 hours?
I could try that.
Get a doggy door, but shove food out of it so the kids don't starve while they're in the backyard.
My son is super responsible, so I know I could trust him, but my daughter's the wild card. So
straitjacket.
Yeah. Straight jacket. Yeah, but I have a feeling my son would take advantage of that and she was in a straight jacket.
Want to roll her in some dog poop or something?
Probably.
Well, whatever. But yeah, so that was my weekend. And then Sunday I barbecued, had some people over. That was fun. We day drinked and ate way too much. But, even that is not really relaxing. Sometimes I just need to turn my brain off. Just completely just be brain out. I want to sit in my bat cave for 4 hours and play South Park Fractured Butthole. That's all I want to
do. We barbecued, my son and I, and he had 2 double patties, and each patty, it was just the big frozen ones.
Yeah.
And from Costco. So he had a double patty cheeseburger that had, and then he had a whole thing of fries. Still hungry after that. He eats 2 popsicles.
He needs a job, is what he needs.
And then he ate a couple slices of pizza.
Holy shit!
And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude!
What's your son? What is he 11? What is he? 6'5", 280?
He's 11. He's 5'5" almost, and he has 11 and a half men's shoes.
Dude, I wear a 12.
His feet are bigger than mine now. I wear 11, and he wears an 11 and a half.
Way to go. You're raising a fucking behemoth.
Dude.
Well, clearly, he had 17 hamburgers and 2 pizzas.
Though. He's got no muscle on him at all. And it pisses
Let's hope he doesn't listen to this. Wow, if he's eavesdropping on you right now, he feels real bad about himself. Way to go. God, you suck as a parent. You're so mean.
I'm trying to get him fat so then I don't feel so bad that he's so skinny.
Oh,
my
God.
Nothing's working.
Yeah, well, there's that. I wish we all had that problem.
Yeah. God.
I look at 2 cheeseburgers and my pants, I have to unbutton them. It's like, oh, yeah. You want bacon? Bacon? What, are you trying to kill me, woman? Yeah, whatever. But all right, well, let's get to the news. What do you think about that? Should we talk some nerd news
that you need to know?
Because shit happened this week, and we're gonna talk about it right now. We're going to talk about something that just happened just a minute ago, this afternoon, and everybody, including myself, is real pissed off about it. Swamp Thing, Ryan. Swamp Thing, the new show that we're actually going to review after this show, because we have 2 reviews that we're going to do after this.
Done to the 2nd episode yet.
Me and Ryan, they aired the first, last week we told everybody to watch the pilot episode of Swamp Thing, and we watched it, and this little tease for our after show. We really liked it a lot. It was really good.
Yeah.
And we're real excited to talk to you guys about it. And before we can even talk about it, DC has canceled the show. It will not be renewed for season. Well, it won't be renewed. So it's not canceled in the aspect that we won't see anymore. They're going to air all 10 episodes on the DC Universe app, but but there's no season 2 coming. So this is all we're getting.
They're going to have to find a new swampy location if they want to start recording.
Well, and that's that's the crazy thing. I mean, I think we talked about it a couple months ago that when they were recording, it was originally supposed to be 13 episodes, and then all of a sudden they cut it to 10 real fast, and that there was a rumor that it might not be a season 2, but then we didn't hear anything about it. They've been using Swamp Thing in all the DC Universe promotion, so I thought, okay, well, whatever it was, they figured it out. Early reviews were saying that it was really good, and it was pretty good, and all of a sudden, boom, canceled. So it sounds like what happened, for anybody who wants to know, is so they shot this show in North Carolina. Now, most states will give a tax credit to a studio to shoot their movie there because, most movies or TV shows are, pretty long production. They employ a lot of people, and they bring a lot of money and revenue into the states that they usually shoot. So, shooting a film or a TV show is pretty big business for these states. So what they do is they give a pretty sizable tax credit. So every state has a tax credit budget that they can do for things like this, and so they choose who to give it to. Some states have bigger ones like California and Georgia. But North Carolina is trying to do a lot of it, and so apparently they promised Swamp Thing a $40 million tax break, which would cut its $80 million production in half, right? So the show was a lot more feasible. It wasn't as expensive as DC wanted to pay, so it all worked out. Well, apparently North Carolina messed up in that, and they were only going to give them. They only ended up giving them $14 million. So
because they did like one thing wrong on the paperwork.
Yes, they messed up the paperwork, and now they're only getting $14 million. So DC is massively in the black now on this. I think that's what it is, in the black. Means they're in the negative. They're losing money on this, and they were not comfortable paying what they're paying for this show. And so they immediately canceled it because they don't want to spend $66 million on a second season.
I never realized how much some of these shows depend on those tax breaks from the state. I think
everything does. I'm not exactly sure how it breaks down, honestly.
I know Walking Dead gets pretty decent ones for filming in Georgia and stuff.
Well, and I think it's one of those deals where, if it's an $80 million budget, Swamp Thing is going to, pay X amount of money to film in North Carolina and bring in, between what they pay and the, and the money it brings in, it has to be more. That's why they give the tax credit. So if Swamp Thing's going to pay North Carolina $40 million in taxes and revenues and employee fees, they're willing to give a tax break back to get that. So, but it sounded like Swamp Thing thought they were getting a 50-50 break in this thing, so basically they were going to be able to, not have to pay anything extra to North Carolina. And I don't know. I feel like somebody promised something that they couldn't deliver, and they couldn't deliver it.
Well, I mean, maybe they can do it somewhere else. I hear Louisiana's got some big swamps.
Yeah, I do think it was a little strange that DC pulled the plug immediately. Like, they didn't shop it around. They didn't say, we're no longer going to be doing...
It must have been, like, a really tight budget.
Well, here's the other thing. Is that, so, the other rumor that's coming out is, so we all know Warner Brothers is doing their own dedicated streaming service. I mean, everybody's going to do it. Warner Brothers is expected to. Some people are even predicting at Comic-Con they may release their projected, bundling package deal or whatever. Because now that the Time Warner deal has gone through and AT&T owns everything, Warner Media, now owns HBO, Cinemax, the DC Universe, all these properties. So they're itching to pull a Disney and package everything together. So I mean, the rumor came out today that sounds like the Warner Brothers streaming service is going to start at like $17 a month, which seems pretty high, but it's supposed to include HBO, Starz, or HBO and Cinemax, the entire Warner Brother catalog, original programming, and the DC Universe stuff. So it sounds like they're going to fold this app into a different app. So I don't know if Warner Brothers just doesn't want to spend any money on this until they get their actual streaming service going.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
So I think they originally were like, hey, before this merger went through, Time Warner decided to really dedicate something to DC, right? And it made sense. They started this app. The app was always worked really good, and they slowly started putting content. So I think they were real aggressive with the shows because they really wanted to create value for this. And then, but now that AT&T owns it, they have a different plan. So I think something like the Swamp Thing, maybe they didn't. I feel like they didn't really want to commit to a lot of these shows already until they figured out what they're doing. So now, with this tax issue, they just gave them an opportunity to immediately cut a show, to just cancel it altogether and move on. And that's what this feels like more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense when you put it in that way. I didn't even think about it like that.
Well, yeah, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, people who are hardcore DC fans have endured a lot, right? I mean,
yeah.
They constantly keep giving us universes that they pull the plug on. They promise us things, and then halfway through say, no, we're going to do something else, or we never get it at all. And then, to try and smooth everything over, they're like, oh, hey, here's a new Batman movie. Just pretend like we didn't announce 37 other movies that you're never going to get.
And here's 2 Joker movies.
Yeah.
Played by different people.
To help you forget about the fact that, that we butchered Justice League. We finally gave you Justice League, and it was one of the worst piles of crap that ever graced our screens. It's just, I'm just...
Hey, Aquaman, right?
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm just... it's Cottonwood. Have you got Cottonwood down there? We got so much Cottonwood in the air, it's just like...
Dude, we have like 90% humidity, and it's like 88 degrees. So.
God, yeah. Well, it's not that here, but we have like cotton. It looks like it's snowing. I'm constantly having like a frog in my throat at all times. It's fucking the worst.
At the apocalypse.
If anybody wonders why I'm taking a drink every 30 seconds, it's because I'm trying to keep my fucking shit clear. So I don't talk like this on the whole show the whole time.
We should do a show with those vocalizer things.
Like that on South Park?
They're coming right for us.
Yeah, they're coming. they're coming right for us. Oh no.
Let's move on to the more news.
All right. So anyway, that's what's happening with DC. I don't know. Hopefully, people are petitioning. I'm so fucking sick of the petitions, but whatever. People are petitioning DC to bring back Swamp Thing. It's probably not going to happen, but hey, whatever. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
We'll still watch it.
It is possible. It is possible. We've only watched the first episode. It's really good. It's possible the last 9 are just fucking terrible.
Yeah, it could be possible that was the high point.
We're all just angry, and then by the time we get done with the series, we'll be like, oh god, thank God they canceled this big pile of crap.
I haven't even watched the second season of Punisher because I knew it'd been canceled.
Oh yeah, I know. Jessica Jones is launching like in a couple weeks, and I have zero desire to watch the last season of Jessica Jones. I don't think I'll watch it.
No, we're done. What's the point?
Yeah. Unless somebody's like, oh yeah, they all show up in it. Well, then if that's the case, I might watch it, but whatever. All right. Speaking of things that nobody wants to watch, Sony really wants to put Venom in Spider-Man 3. Like, badly. Apparently, the rumor was that they wanted Deadpool originally and to be in Spider-Man Part 3. And then, apparently, they said, no, we don't want Deadpool. We actually want Tom Hardy's Venom. So they want to cross this over, like, in the absolute worst way. Kevin Feige apparently has said that he will never put Venom in a Spider-Man movie. So this looks like a great showdown that's coming to an end.
Probably a good idea, considering I just watched that Venom movie last week, it's like it wasn't terrible, but it was a good background movie to have.
Well, here's the deal.
I was like doing stuff.
Okay, so Venom was fun. I mean, it was whatever. It was a nothing movie. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, and it wasn't good. It was just kind of a whatever.
Really.
But it made a lot of money for Sony, and I think Sony's just desperate. You know, one of the big criticisms of Venom is people are like, hey, this character's so tied in with Spider-Man. How can you honestly have a Venom movie without Spider-Man? And so I think Sony's just desperate to keep the Spider-Verse going without Spider-Man, so they just want him to be one of the cool kids.
They don't want to turn over all the rights. So
well, and if Venom's part of the MCU, it just makes Venom that much cooler, but he's just not. I don't know, whatever. Apparently, it has been confirmed, too. It came out this week that Woody Harrelson is, in fact, going to be Carnage in the Venom 2 movie.
Yeah.
So,
that sounds good.
So there you go. There you go, Sony. You get Carnage and Venom. Just keep your little Venom-y tentacles off of the new Spider-Man, because he's great.
Go away.
He's majestic, and we don't need your dirty Venom juice all over him. All right, what else we got? Ooh, we'll do trailers in a minute. Trailer. Indiana Jones. Speaking of old things, I don't know if we were, but we are now. Indiana Jones 5 apparently is going to start shooting real soon, according to Harrison Ford.
And Harrison Ford is not in a wheelchair, so. Well,
they just opened Galaxy's Edge, and he came out and helped christen the Millennium Falcon ride, and he looked pretty good, pretty svelte.
Shia LaBeouf, isn't he supposed to be his son or something now?
Yeah, whatever. Something tells me we're never going to see Shia LaBeouf again in an Indiana Jones movie. You know what they really need to do? Here's what they need to do. Indiana Jones 5 they need to bring Short Round back. They need to cast what's his name from The Walking Dead? Glenn. Cast Glenn to play Short Round, and then you could bring in Short Round and Dr. Jones for another Indiana Jones movie. How about that idea? Temple of Doom Part 2.
Or just find the original actor for Short Round.
Dude, he's like 60 at this point.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford's like 100, so...
That's probably true. That's a good point. But yeah, so apparently, I don't know, Harrison Ford may be starting the onsets of dementia, because somebody asked him about it, and he says, yeah, I think it's starting to film next week. And then Disney immediately came out like, that's not filming next week.
Yeah. That's just him being a crazy old man.
I don't know. He probably hasn't looked at a calendar in years. He probably has he has an assistant do everything. He has no idea when something's coming out.
You want me just to stand here and act?
All right, when am I supposed to swing the whip? And somebody asked him, like, who should play Indiana Jones after, like, next? And he said nobody. The character should die with him, is what he said. I love Harrison Ford.
Vicious.
Yes, I like it. But, so, all joking aside, apparently it is going to, he did say it's going to start filming next week. They came out and said, no, it's going to start filming early next year. But it is coming. I mean, everyone kind of speculated that it was going to happen or whether it was going to get pushed back. But, I mean, apparently they have a set film day where they're going to start shooting. So,
I mean, they should be in the 70s and 80s by now. So,
yeah, whatever. I don't care. You know what? I don't care. All you Kingdom of Crystal Skull haters, you can just suck it. That movie was not that bad until the last 10 minutes. Made no sense at all. The ending made no sense. Not even a little.
I still don't understand it.
I watched it again just to okay, did I miss something? Nope. The crystal skulls all of a sudden start collecting and then they spin into all the skulls were actually just one alien in a multiverse. Spielberg, Lucas, y'all gotta lay off the drugs.
It needed more Nazis.
Well, I mean, the Russians were pretty good bad guys, but it needed less aliens.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of aliens, that's a trailer too. God damn it. All right. Since we were talking about Star Wars a second ago, apparently Galaxy's Edge, anybody who is going, if you're an adult, you cannot wear a costume, so do not wear a costume. People are being told they can't go in if they are wearing like stormtrooper armor or whatever. It is because they actually have costume actors walking around, and they don't want to confuse the people.
Yeah, and they're interactive, like like how you talked about the Harry Potter stuff. So,
Ray has been going around talking to people, doing all kinds of fun stuff. So yes, they do not want you dressing up. If you have kids that are going, your kids under the age of 12 can dress up, unless you have a son like Ryan, who's 6'8". It's just an ogre man-child. He, even though is not 12, they will not understand that, and he will be kicked out of Disneyland.
Yes. I don't think he would wear it. I think he would buy one, and then he would wear it around the house, but I don't think he would wear it in public.
He better wear it, Ryan, or else we're not friends anymore. All right. What else we got here? Wonder Woman. We don't have a trailer yet for Wonder Woman 84, but we got a pretty badass
It doesn't come out for another year.
God,
so.
Why? June 5th, 2020. Apparently the movie, according to Patty Jenkins, the movie's like done shooting. Like the movie's like ready to go. I don't know why we have to wait a year.
It's because they don't know what they're doing.
Because the people who canceled Swamp Thing are probably in charge of Wonder Woman. They're just gonna cancel Wonder Woman too. They'll be like, you know what? We decided to go in a new direction.
And we're just gonna make all Batman and Joker movies.
Well, dude, so apparently they've decided that they're going to officially go forward with multiverses. So now they're going to do the new Batman, the new Patterson Batman movie is going to kick off a new DC universe, but Aquaman and Wonder Woman are still in the old DC universe.
It's too much. You have not established enough to be able to start branching out.
They're so stupid. Like, we don't listen. We like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. We like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. We like Henry Cavill. Ben Affleck's out. I get it. Okay, the Justice League movie wasn't very good. Even if you recast Superman, nobody's going to be like, wait a minute, that's not the same Superman. Who gives a shit? Just recast these characters and make a good fucking movie. God, give a crap.
Just stick with something.
Dude, just whatever. Just do something. I don't care what. Do something that's not stupid. That's all I'm saying.
It can't.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, speaking of people that are stupid canceling things, Sci-Fi Channel canceled Deadly Class and Happy.
I have not watched
book shows.
Happy, but I did watch a little bit of Deadly Class, and it wasn't that bad.
I really like Deadly Class a lot. I'll be honest, I never got around to watching Happy. I always wanted to, but I always forgot to DVR it. And so I saw that season 1 was on Netflix, and so I was going to watch it. I'll still watch it because they got 2 full seasons, but I've heard the first season's kind of a standalone season anyway, if you really want it to be. But rumor is that Netflix may be picking up Happy. Happy's one of their most downloaded shows, so there's a good chance they could pick that one up. Deadly Class is so good, I can't imagine somebody won't give it a shot. It's a really good show.
It's probably Netflix.
Well, I could see Netflix picking it up. It's a dark show. It's based on a comic book. It would fit right in with their Umbrella Academy stuff. Like, it's a good comic book show. It's a little weird, but
yeah, it's a little weird, but I mean, you can pick it up pretty easily. I mean, it's not difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Two other things Netflix did pick up that we do know about for sure is apparently they are teaming up with a couple pretty big properties. The first one is Magic the Gathering. They're doing an animated show based on Magic the Gathering, the card game.
So I'm guessing that's like the Planeswalkers or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they're calling it. I mean, you could literally have like 4 factions based on all the different colors. You know, the white, the black, the blue, the red, the green.
Now, did you ever play?
Yeah, I played a lot when it first came out.
So what was your color scheme?
I really liked the white and blue deck. I also I did a lot of combo decks. The only deck that I went straight one color was the fire deck because you could just goblin the shit out of people.
That was the red one, right?
Yeah, that had a lot of well, I guess it's the red deck. I don't know if it's the fire deck. I think it's fire. I always call it fire deck.
Red deck is mountains.
No, blue is mountains. I thought. No, blue is oceans. God, it's been a long time since I played. You're right. Red is mountains. Blue is oceans. White is plains. Green is swamps. Oh no, black is swamps. Green is forest.
Right. And white is like angels or something.
Yeah, so I really like the white deck a lot because the angels were fucking amazing. They would fly. Plus, you could get the Wrath of God. That was the greatest card. When you're just like, you know what, fuck you, Wrath of God.
Eat it.
Yeah, I like.
I've been playing. My son has a bunch of Magic cards, and I've been playing with the black deck. That one's not too bad. But
yeah, well, there's a lot of your characters like a lot of plagues and stuff. Like your characters eventually will cause you damage.
You got to build up, and once you can get like churning out a bunch of stuff, then
the worst is when you played people who had green decks because it's always such quick hit. They had 9 creatures out in 3 turns, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, Lincoln and I just have like the deck that you can buy at like Target.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's got like pre-made deck and
yeah.
everything like that.
No, dude, those are cool. Honestly, I don't play like tournaments or anything. I got into it a couple years after it had come out, so like I didn't have any of the alpha or beta sets that were worth like billions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
I really got into it with Ice Age, which I think was the 4th set that came out. My problem with Magic was a couple. One, you get all these cool cards and then they immediately ban them, right? And so but I didn't play in any tournaments, but whenever you would play with people, you never knew whether they're playing tournament rules or not tournament rules. So every time you show up someplace to play with people, you had to reconfigure your deck because they had a list of all these cards you couldn't use, and you're like, ugh, pull them all out. It's just stupid to me. If you have the card, use it. I don't understand why they ban cards. Just play them. Let them play. If you got it, play it. But, and the other thing is like, I really liked the card game, but I didn't know what it was. Like, all the people, well, not all, but a good chunk of the people who played it just like take a shower. Like you would go into these like basements where people would play it and it just reeked in there. I'm like, why do you can be a Magic fan and also have a girlfriend and take a shower? Like,
yeah,
you could do both. And it just everyone got so weird with the card game. Like people took it so seriously. I've literally seen people flip tables and just get into fist fights because they thought people were cheating. I'm just like, I gotta go.
I've talked to one of our friends of the show. He's always been into Magic, and so I was like, so if my son wanted to try and make like a competitive deck, I was like, so how much would that cost? And he's like, probably if you want to have like a basic one to like make it like to do all right like in the tournaments, probably like $500 to $1,000.
Yeah.
Cards. I was like, no.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like I said, ultimately it got to the point where it just wasn't fun anymore, right? Like, I like to play a game like I'd see new cards all the time, and I'd just be like, hey, what does that do? And people just get annoyed if you don't know what that card does, and I'm just like,
or that you can't read a card upside down.
Yeah, I'm just like, can I see it real quick? I just want to know what I'm up against. Ugh, do your homework. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just between the smell and the fucking, I just can't do this anymore. I'm out. I'm out.
But we'll see how the show goes.
But as a card game goes, it's really good. And I'm sure the animated show will be really cool. It's going to be an original story and everything, so I'm excited for it. I'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm also excited. Well, not as much. I like fantasy. I really like the fantasy animated shows. But Netflix has also teamed up with Universal to produce a Jurassic World tie-in show. It's going to be animated. It's called Camp Cretaceous.
It's called Life Finds a Way.
And I have a sneaking feeling it's going to be like dude, with a name like Camp Cretaceous, does that just strike you as like a kid show?
Yeah, it sounds very much like a kid's show.
Yeah, I really have I know there's a lot of Jurassic Park fans who are real excited about this, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be for like 8-year-olds.
Dora the Explorer finds...
Yeah, like there might be one big bad T-Rex that they all have to hide from, but I feel like this is not going to have
cultural. That's for sure.
This is not going to be Rexy. This is not going to be Rexy running around eating everything. I don't think. I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I mean, I've never been wrong, Ryan. I just made that up. All right, what else we got here? Let's see here. Lucifer. Everything got canceled, but Lucifer didn't get canceled. They just aired season 4. I'm currently watching it. Season 5 has been renewed. Ha! But it's going to be the final season. So apparently the Netflix talked to the showrunners, and they had enough story to get to this point, and they said, okay, fine, we'll let you finish your story. So Lucifer is going to get to go out the way it wants to, which is awesome.
Thank you, Netflix.
Yeah, thank you. Here's my thing is like, I feel like every show, we've gotten to the point now that people want us to commit to these shows, their genre, they tell a story. Every network has to allow a show to give us a closure, right? I mean, I feel like that just has to happen. Unless your show's just terrible, they owe it to us to just not cancel something and leave us hanging forever. Okay, let's see here. Do we want to talk Dark Phoenix? Neither one of us has seen it, but the reviews are just trashing it right now.
I heard it's not so bad. I don't know. So, I haven't read any of the stuff just because I just want to go into it fresh.
Yeah, I don't want to shit all over something I haven't seen. the general consensus is it's better than X-Men Last Stand and it's better than X-Men Apocalypse, but it's not good.
Maybe at the end she goes, "I'm quitting the North, bitches," and then she
just kills everybody. See, that I would be 100% for.
So she's like, so this is what happens if Sansa, had a dragon and burned people, and just like.
So what happens if Sansa was actually a dragon all along? All right, what else we got here? Okay, we got a bunch of trailers. We'll talk about those in a second. We got a little Halo news. Apparently the showrunners are going for a Game of Thrones vibe for the live-action Halo show.
Everybody wants to do a Game of Thrones vibe.
I will say this. I've read the Halo books and I've watched the show. If they do follow Reach right, it could be very Games of Thrones. There's a lot of surprise deaths and horror and backstabbing and some crazy shit that happens in Halo.
Yeah. I mean, it's an ultimate survival thing.
Yeah, so, I'm really excited. It sounds like they're going real ambitious. They said it's going to have the same type of budget, so it sounds like they're going to have $100 million plus for the first season of Halo. So Showtime really sounds like they are going all in on Halo, which if you're going to do a Halo show, you have to go all in. And that makes me excited. This actually might be good.
Just so you guys know, Master Chief is always the good guy.
Yeah, he's a badass, so we'll see. Let's see here. Disney's bringing us Snow White, live-action Snow White. Don't care. Besides, didn't Chris Helmsworth already make like 2 of these movies?
Disney's doing something. Big surprise.
Apple. Do we want to talk about Apple, or do we want to skip Apple?
Apple's making new computers.
Oh my God. The new Apple Mac, just for the computer, is $6,000. And then if you want the monitor, it's another $6,000. And if you want the stand for the monitor, because the monitor doesn't come with the stand for $6,000, you have to spend another $1,000.
Just for the stand.
Which I think is just ridiculous. And I'm an Apple fan, but whatever.
And our good friend X is already making his pre-order.
Yes.
So.
I believe he's already put one of his kidneys up for sale on eBay, so he's ready for this. I
remember it was like trying to convince my parents to get their first computer, and I think that was at least like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's just bring back memories of the old days where...
I will say the specs, and I'm not going to dive into it, but the specs on this new Mac Pro are pretty impressive.
Yeah, super impressive. If you 4K videos and shit like that.
This is a high-end computer that I believe is being targeted for like music people who are making like Pixar movies.
Yeah, video editing. You know,
I don't believe that Apple is like targeting every Joe Schmo on the street for this one. This is the specific people.
Your pages is only going to look so good when you're trying to type in that memo.
Exactly. They also announced that they're killing off iTunes after like 20 years, so we're now going to have dedicated apps for each one of the things we like to do. So you're going to have an Apple Music, an Apple Movies, an Apple like News. So I mean, whatever. And then there's a few new features they talked about. We're getting dark mode for our phones and tablets. The other thing that's pretty cool is we're getting, whatever. I mean, we've had it on our MacBooks for a while now, but
I invert colors on everything. So
yeah, I mean, it's cool. It takes a while to get used to it. There's some things that are better, some things that aren't. But the one thing I'm really excited about is apparently we're getting what they're calling Apple Sidecar. So if you have a MacBook or a Mac, you're going to be able to take your iPad Pro and you're going to be able to use it as a second screen, as a second touch screen for your Mac. So your pencil and stuff, you'll be able to draw on it and use it. Yeah,
that looks pretty rad. Right? I saw the thing for that. That looks pretty cool.
That's pretty great, especially since I have the MacBook, I have the Pro, I have the iPad Pro and the little pencil. Yeah. So like you can draw stuff, you can write things, you can add it onto the show. I'll play around in the editing bay with that one, so I'm kind of excited about that. But but they launch that later this year, so more on that when we hear about it. We got a badass Stranger Things 3 poster. That we are less than a month away from that dropping, so I'm very excited for that. Yeah, that show, I love that show, man. Me and the missus started rewatching season 1 and 2 again with the kids. We've only got a couple episodes with the kids, and they're terrified, so we're probably gonna.
Kids watch them?
Yeah, they've been begging us to watch them, so we did. We got to the point where the spoiler alert, the Demogorgon ate Barb, and they were out. They're like, nope, we're done. Like,
we're done.
So, but it made us want to rewatch the whole thing again. So we're gonna try and binge watch season 1 and 2 again before the third one pops up. Apparently a Punky Brewster sequel show is in the works. Whatever. I say bring it all back. I want to see Alf. When are we getting Alf back?
Yeah, I'm surprised Alf hasn't come back yet. That's to be honest.
Yeah. Let's see here. Chernobyl is the highest rated TV show in history on IMDb. How about that?
History?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Well, it's the highest rated current show currently on IMDb.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty fancy. And I think every single person that I know that has seen that show has highly recommended it.
It is so fucking good. It is so good.
I have not heard one person who has seen it that had a negative thing to say about it.
Yeah, I know I recommended it last week, but I've seen all 5 episodes now. I highly recommend everybody, if you have not watched this, just take a 5-hour block out of your day and just sit down and watch it, because you're going to want to watch 1 to 5 all the way to the end. It's amazing. Let's see here. We got some leaked Marvel news. I don't want to talk too much about it because this is all rumor stuff, and who knows if it's true or not. But we are going to get, so Disney announced their D23 this August, and they announced that at D23 they will be we'll be giving in the new lineup of the next Marvel Phase 4 movies, so we're going to find out a lot more then. But the rumors is that we're going to be getting another Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. We're going to be getting a Fantastic Four movie. We're going to be getting a Young Avengers and a Dark Avengers, which would be kind of cool.
And we're going to get an old Avengers that's just Captain America.
Well, they did say that the Avengers are dead. There's going to be no more Avengers movies in this iteration. So it sounds like the new trilogy could be New Avengers, Young Avengers, and Dark Avengers could be kind of the thing.
So does that mean, which one was Wolverine? Was he in the Dark Avengers?
Wolverine was not in the Dark Avengers. The Dark Avengers was Norman Osborn, which apparently he may be one of the big villains in the next phase, is Norman Osborn. It was like... So they took all these bad guys and they inverted them. So like the Red Hulk was the new Hulk, and like so they took all these kind of evil characters and made them the Avengers.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like the Thunderbolts gone bad. So I don't know. We'll see. The new Avengers is obviously the new Avenger team, and the Young Avengers were kind of like the kids and the younger versions, of the Avengers. So
Spider-Man can lead that one.
I don't care. Whatever. It's Marvel. We'll fucking watch it.
We'll see.
Let's be honest. We'll watch it. And then the last bit of news before we get into knock out a couple of these trailers real quick is, so this came out kind of out of nowhere, and everyone is just immediately now has to have this. So Quentin Tarantino right now is doing press for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it came up about he wrote a comic book for, I think, Dynamite, where he's been doing an ongoing series for his Django his Django character that he made with who is that? Who's the actor who plays that? Jamie Foxx. And so he's been doing a comic book. Well, he did a team up story with Django and Zorro because they kind of happened at the same time, and they end up teaming up to hunt down bad guys or something. And the comic book's been so popular. Somebody asked him if he'd make a movie, and he said, yeah, he's planning on making a movie. So right now they are working on making a sequel to Django and his new Zorro movie. A Django Unchained Zorro team-up movie is in the works with Quentin Tarantino to write and direct.
I think my wife and I got like a quarter of the way through the Django Unchained, and then she just couldn't watch it anymore.
Dude, it's a good movie, man. It's brutal. Fucking brutal, but it's good.
I think that was the thing for her. She just couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a brutal show. A brutal movie, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, because I'm sure with being a Zorro thing, there's certain limits that you could... I mean, in Django, they're dropping the N-word like every other word. I don't see a Zorro movie where they're... that's rated R, dropping F-bombs and N-words. So I feel like it'd have to be a more tame version of Django if they want to. I mean, you can't have people's heads exploding like they do in Django.
We'll see. I mean, you never know how it's going to go with it.
I don't know who owns the licensing to Zorro. I just would be surprised if they signed off on that. So we'll see what they...
I'm sure there's like some family owns it.
I don't care. I want to see that immediately, though. So, all right. And then let's see what else we got. Okay, so trailers. We got a whole bunch of new trailers to drop this week, so we'll talk about them for a minute. The first one I want to talk about is we got our first look at the Dark Crystal prequel series from Netflix.
Yeah.
We got a cool poster. The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. So it's a 10-episode, 1 hour each episode. Prequel to the movie.
Once, or are they going to do it week by week? That's what I want.
I don't know. It's Netflix, so I mean, I can't imagine they do week by week. They'll probably just drop the whole thing and you can binge watch it. Here's my thing. I'm really excited. The trailer looks amazing. I got so many people asking me if this is actually if it's a CGI or puppets, because it looks so good. It doesn't look like puppets.
They're using Muppets.
Yeah, they're using puppets. Now, some of the backgrounds and stuff they're definitely using. They've come a long way with digital effects, so it's going to look much better than the, I think, 1983 movie that came out. That being said, I don't know. I mean, I remember watching the movie as a kid, but it was not really my favorite as a kid. I feel like I really need to revisit it. I think I've only watched it the one time.
I think I'm in the exact same boat. I watched it one time, and just nothing about it caught on with me, and I just filed it away and just never revisited it ever again.
Yeah, so I mean, so many people I know that love fantasy love this story. So that alone makes me want to revisit it. But honestly, the trailer for this series looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, it was just like how we try and do it here. We don't judge until we see it. So
yeah. So, but I'm definitely excited for it, and because it's Netflix, it'll be free. So hey, there we go. The next thing up that we got is we had our first look at Rambo: Last Blood, the supposedly final Rambo movie that's dropping this fall, September. It basically looks like Home Alone, but with Rambo.
Yeah. I got my traps.
I mean, the cartel, I don't know exactly what happens. I don't know if he's living in, like, Arizona or Mexico, but he ends up tangling with some cartel, and, like, 30 carloads of cartel just show up at his ranch.
I hope he puts on a movie, and then he pushes it, turns it on really loud, and, like, messes with someone.
He's like, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animals."
You're
It's Rambo. But I don't know. It looks violent. It looks very Rambo-y, except for he's missing the mullet. And I don't know if you can have a Rambo without the bandana and a mullet.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, he's got the big knife and the bow and arrow, so we'll see. I don't know. I'll watch it. Screw it. It's Rambo. Why not? Basically, Rambo murders... I think he murders like 70 people in just the trailer, so, we'll see how the movie is.
That's how you know it's going to be good.
We also got our first look at the Pixar movie coming, I believe, next year. So this is actually a really early look at Onward.
The first look. I mean, they kind of like setting this, like what the story, like where the world is. What the world is like, but not really. It
stars Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, and they play trolls in this. So basically, if the fantasy world was a real world, like it's like magic. It reminds me a little bit of Zootopia and the Will Smith movie Bright. It's like
right, yeah.
It's like it's almost like if Shrek moved to like now times, right? So like people have cars and cell phones, but there's also like mer people. I did love they have the unicorns that are like. That are wild, like eating the trash. They're all rabid.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I like how they had a pet dragon.
My kids are gonna love it.
Oh yeah, I think it looks really cute. I mean, it's Pixar, so I'm definitely gonna watch it. It looks really good already. I mean, there's still a whole year to go. They didn't really talk much about the story, but it seems like these two brothers are gonna go on some kind of a magical quest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
See, got some goods for our quest. Like no, just try.
I just watched this and all I kept thinking was like a fantasy Zootopia. Is really like
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
It's like a Dungeons and Dragons. It looked like Dungeons and Dragons Zootopia is what it looked like to me. But whatever. Hey, Zootopia was a good movie, so screw it. I'll watch it. And like I said, whatever Pixar makes, I'll watch. We got a new trailer for, we got the first trailer for Ford versus Ferrari. Apparently, it's the story of Shelby and Ford trying to take on Ferrari in the Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. Looks pretty good. If you like race car movies, it reminds me a lot. Definitely had a Rush vibe to it. So I'm in.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like car racing movies, and I like Christian Bale and Jason Bourne, so I'm in. I like Batman and Bourne, man. That's what this movie should have been called. You would have sold more tickets, I'll tell you that.
The Batman Bourne?
Batman versus Bourne. That's what they should have called this movie. And then you would have sold 1 million tickets. Yeah, people would have been real mad when they left, and there was no Batman or Jason Bourne, but hey, whatever. That's their fault. And then lastly, we got a trailer for the new Brad Pitt movie that's not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is the first I've heard of this movie, and it looks like it's real high concept sci-fi called Ad Astra,
which means it's going to get a lot of high scores from critics, and then everybody else is going to be super confused.
Yeah, it definitely has that feeling to it. I'll probably end up seeing this. My wife saw the trailer and she liked it. It's got a really good cast of actors, and it's got an interesting concept. It's just, I don't know, man. It looks... Basically, Brad Pitt's dad went on like a 20-year mission to save humanity, but he got lost. But he might be the villain now, and then Brad Pitt has to go find him.
Yeah,
but like at one point, it looks like Brad Pitt falls.
It looks highbrow, and we're gonna have to wait to see.
But it also, at one point, it looks like Brad Pitt falls from a space station to Earth.
Yeah, and then he's in a hospital bed. Like, oh yeah, people totally survived that.
I mean, maybe if he had a good parachute and he landed on a comfy pillow.
Like a lot of pillows.
Like 3. I don't know, whatever. It looked cool. Like I said, I'll probably check it out. Clearly my wife is in love with Brad Pitt's abs, which, I mean, hey, who can blame her? I'm in love with Brad Pitt's abs. And Brad Pitt's abs, I think that's a good place to end the show. Or at least end the news part of the show.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? All right, Ryan. I think it's time for questions from the Faithful 50 now.
We do have questions from the Faithful.
What do we got? Got anything good?
The first question we have from Christine, and she wants to know that she has not been watching, I'm guessing, our show, because she has not seen Endgame. Don't worry, Christine, we are not currently talking about it. So
we are not going to tell you that Captain America marries Iron Man and they move to Nebulous 3.
We would not say that Spider-Man came back as Spider-Gwen instead.
With the Venom suit.
Yeah, and then Venom came out and him and Hulk had a big hug.
We're not going to say Thanos turned everybody into marshmallows and...
had a giant barbecue.
Yeah.
And then he just ate s'mores for the whole...
S'mores. Avengers should have been called S'mores Game.
Yeah, S'mores Game. Let's see. So, but she said she wants to figure if it's safe to come back. So she said the summer is here, and she wants to know what is our favorite keep the kids busy so they don't kill each other summer activity. Oof. I don't know if she's trying to look for help for her kids or not, but my kids can barely even be in the same room together at this point. So our stuff is mostly you go in your room and you go in the other room and find something to do by yourself because you guys are going to straight up murder each other.
Yeah, there's no way. This is a trick question because there's no way to there's nothing on earth that can keep the kids away from murdering each other all summer. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be like, you take your bike and go that way, and you ride your bike and go that way, and somehow they'll find each other in the middle of the neighborhood and still fight. So I think you're going about this all wrong. So I think what you got to do, Christine, is you got to drink so much that you don't care that your kids are murdering each other. That's what I do.
Or you just get to the point where you don't have to drink, but if something happened, you say, "Is anyone bleeding?" And they say no, then you say, "Then leave me alone."
Or if you're scared of becoming a raging alcoholic, which is a valid concern with children, I say noise-canceling headphones are really good. Get your tablet or device, and you can sit wherever they're playing, and you can just tune them out, and you can just melt away watching our show, or maybe like The Flash or something.
Yeah, you can always somehow trick your spouse into spending some time with the kids and then sneaking away.
Listen, if watching Chernobyl unfold is less horrific than spending time with your own kids because they're psychos.
Yeah.
Just saying. I understand.
Well, there you go, Christine. That's our help for you this week.
There you go.
Let's see. So, Perry, he wants to know, have you seen the trailer for the Star Wars Clone Wars Season 6?
Yes.
Of
Well,
course,
I watched most of it.
I'm sure Brian has not only seen it, but Brian has absorbed it into every fiber of his being.
Well, okay, so full disclosure, even though I am a diehard Star Wars fan, I didn't watch the last couple seasons of Clone Wars because they got really boring for me. So I always meant to go back and finish them. I just never got around to it. So one of the things I'm going to do when the Disney streaming service launches with all of these seasons of Clone Wars is I'm going to rewatch them all. So season 6, I watched the trailer. It looked great. I'm excited that they're going to give us some closure with. I mean, we kind of already got closure with Ahsoka with the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. I feel like a lot of the storylines that I knew about, we got closure in Star Wars Rebels, but there's a lot of hanging threads from Clone Wars that they're gonna close out with the 6th season. That being said, because I hadn't watched the whole thing, a lot of where they were at, it didn't mean a lot to me because I'm like, okay, I don't even know why they're doing it. I mean, I've watched all the movies and read most of the comics and stuff, so I have an idea of what's going on, but I need to get caught up. That being said, the Season 6 trailer looked really good. I'm really excited for it. But I've said it from day one, I think Disney's doing a great job with Star Wars. I think everything they do is really good. So
Disney's been knocking it out of the park with Star Wars. I mean, and now Galaxy's Edge is going to make them, $1 trillion.
Yeah,
so.
At least. It's going to be so much money. So, yes, I'm very excited. I believe that's going to drop in November when they drop the streaming service. So, it's either going to be November or probably the 1st of next year. So excited. Oh.
Thank you, Perry. And now we have Chris. He wants to know what is a good side dish for a ravioli dinner.
A big bowl of ice cream.
Garlic bread.
Ice cream.
Ice cream was a side dish for ravioli? That makes no sense.
I think ice cream's a good side dish for any dinner, Ryan. You know what? Fuck you. I felt real judged. I felt like you were really judging me right there.
Well,
as a guy who likes to stick his finger in the holes of a pie, I figured you to understand a man's desire for a good dessert.
I do not do that, by the way.
That's not what you said earlier in the show.
No, well, that was not what I was referencing. Just so you know.
But what's a good side dish? So yeah, I mean a Caesar salad.
Or you could go to Costco and you get the Costco salad that's got the spinach. That is probably the best salad.
I don't know, good side dish for ravioli. I don't know. When I eat pasta, I literally just eat a salad. I eat as much pasta as humanly possible and garlic bread. That's all I eat.
Yeah. I just put everything on the garlic bread and eat the garlic bread.
Red wine. Red wine is a nice side dish for ravioli.
Or garlic mashed potatoes.
I don't know. Watch The Godfather and see what they eat.
Yeah. Just find some Italians and ask the Italians. And I'm sure they'll even make it for you.
Or just hit the Googles. I'm sure Googs knows. Hang on. Let me ask. Hey, Siri. What should you eat with ravioli? Side dishes on what you should eat with ravioli. Let's see what we got. A spring salad.
No.
Nope. You're out. Spring salad's out. Fresh a platter of roasted vegetables. Nope, that's out. And bread. See? Bread. Me and Ryan were right on. Boom. Look at that.
Bread. That's it.
That was Googs and me and Ryan. So bread, ice cream, and Caesar salad. And red wine.
There you go. We just made your dinner for you.
Boom. There we go. All right. Any other ones?
No, that was it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for your questions. It is great. We would also love to hear your answers to those questions. Chris, what would you recommend for a ravioli side dish? Perry, what did you think of the trailer? And Christine, what are you going to actually do for your kids this summer? I want to know because I've got 2 kids too. I need to know we need to share the information because I need to know what to do to make them not murder each other either.
All I know is that my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and that's her problem to deal with.
Wow, that was real sexist of you. It's 2019, Ryan. Don't be that guy. Wow. I feel like I don't even know you anymore. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. We deeply appreciate it. All right, moving on real quick before we get out of here. Weekly recommendations. A couple things you should or shouldn't waste your time doing this week.
If you see my shirt, I've got my Dungeons and Dragons shirt on.
You're not going to show me your boobs again, are you?
Because I was a dungeon master. And my son and I put in a 3 hours to finish off his current campaign that we're doing. And it was super awesome and a ton of fun. And if you want you can kind of it's been fun for us because it incorporates like quick math. Because he's got to roll like 66s, and so you got to keep track of how many rolls he's at, and keep adding them up and stuff like that. And it's fun to watch him trying to get him to be more imaginative and trying to get him to think outside the box from what he would. I just go straight and I attack you got the giant army and you can try and do this and stuff. So, no, it's just a lot of fun trying to teach him like a different way of playing games instead of just all the board games and video games and stuff that's out there. So I would highly suggest you can get a free D&D Beyond account and you can make 5 characters for free, just basic characters, just all the races and professions and everything. It's a lot of fun. So my son and I have been having a blast doing it, and it's D&D. Just go try it and see how it goes. Make a family night of it, and just have some fun. Brian, I challenge you and your family to do it. I would like to see what would come out of the West household.
My wife would call me a nerd and leave. I'm very disappointed. All the talk about Magic the Gathering, I thought your recommendation was going to be play Magic. But instead you went old school Magic. You went Dungeons and Dragons.
Free Magic.
Nice. Very good. Dungeons and Dragons. Check it out. It's a fun family game that uses your imagination. Yeah. My recommendation this week is actually 2 quick podcasts that you guys can check out immediately. One, last week I said watch Chernobly. We've talked about it this week a little bit. Watch Chernobly. It is, or Chernobly. I don't think it's Ch. I think it's Chur. Watch Chernobly. One of the best shows I've ever seen. Best miniseries I've ever watched. And if you really get into it, they have a podcast that you can listen to. It's almost like a director's commentary. It's 5 episodes. It's with the director, the showrunner of the series. In each episode, he kind of breaks down what happens in each episode. But it's not like a recap. It's more of like a deep dive into what he had to cut out, what things he might have had to change just to make the show work. What things he had to leave out because they were too horrific to even show us. And it is an absolute fascinating deep dive into a show that already deep dives into one of the most tragic events that we didn't even really know about. So it's the show's incredible. The podcast is incredible. Highly recommend it. The Chernobly podcast, it's HBO produces it, 5 episodes. Definitely listen to it after you watch the show, but I highly recommend it. Another one that I recommend is a little bit longer is another podcast. It's called The End of the World. One of the guys who makes the most downloaded podcast in history, stuff you should know, made a podcast called The End of the World. So basically it breaks down how the world's going to end. And he's not saying that he knows. He just breaks down all the different ways the world could end, what's most likely, and just kind of talks about it. It's actually it's kind of terrifying in some ways, but it's also, if you like science, they talk about gamma rays and stars going supernova and all kinds of different cosmic events, but also like, man-made events, how we could kill ourselves with global warming or with AI, or what things have already happened, what things could happen, and what does it look like, the end of mankind. And it's a really good show or podcast that breaks down a lot of things in ways that you never thought about and makes you think about the future a lot more. So, it's not like overly depressing. I mean, it can be a little bit. There's definitely some stuff you're like, man, we've, we gotta get our shit together. But it's really good, really interesting, super well made, and just riveting. There's 10 episodes in season 1. They're each about an hour long. So the End of the World podcast, I would highly recommend that one too.
I'm gonna check that one out because I do love the Stuff You Should Know podcast.
Yeah, it's really good. Hang on, let me double check. Make sure that's the name. I'm pretty sure that's the name, but I just started listening to it, so I don't want to mess it up here. Let's see.
Yeah.
The End of the World, with Josh Clark. So, End of the World with Josh Clark. Check it out. Really good. Highly recommend it. So, all right. Well, that's about all the time we got. Before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell everyone they can find us?
You can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We're on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, and you can download every episode on iTunes.
Absolutely free.
That's a subscription for 5 stars, and do all that stuff, and leave a nice comment, and then tell 5 of your friends, because that's all you have to do. That's all the minimum requirement is. 5.
Jazz hands.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Boom. Just like that. And just like that, we're out of here. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, everybody.